going out shopping for your home and love the item in the store, but when you got it home, it just didn't work? Well, if it's a small item, it's easy enough to return it, but if it's a larger item like a sofa, returning it can be a nightmare. So in today's video, in 3 easy steps, I'll show you how to avoid those buying mistakes, and I'll also take you through how I help my clients turn a bad buy into an amazing living space. If you're new to my channel, I am Trish Debnam, and this is Trish Talks. I've been a full-time interior designer for the last 25 years, working in both residential and commercial design. And on this channel, I cover everything related to interior design and home renovation projects. So now let me tell you about this project I did about 3 years ago. I got a call from the husband of this couple who had recently gone furniture shopping. After visiting a few stores, they landed in this mid to high-end furniture store. They loved the furniture groups, the vignettes, the accessories. I mean, they loved everything. But after walking around the store for an hour with the salesperson, they couldn't find anything that they loved for their home. So the salesperson said, "No problem. Let me set you up with our in-house interior designer." The homeowners were like, "Great." So they met with the designer a couple of times and ended up buying a small sofa and 2 side chairs for several $1,000s. Well, when the furniture arrived, they were not happy. And that's when they called me. They didn't know how to make the new furniture work with their existing decor. And so now let me tell you, if I had started with them from the very beginning, I would have told them, before you do anything, before you go shopping, anything, you must first do this. And I'm calling this step number 1. You must first write down your requirements. Sounds simple, right? But most people don't write anything down, and then they get upset with themselves and anyone else working on the project about why the furniture doesn't work or why they don't like the design. So you need to start by writing down your requirements. Write down how you want the space to look and function when it's all said and done. Write down everything that you want to have incorporated into the new design, and then write down those things that you're willing to let go. For this project, I ended up compiling my client's requirements, and I also had to develop specifications or specification package for the general contractor, which is another step. But in our conversations, they told me their requirements, which were they needed to keep the sofa and chairs because they had just purchased those, and that they wanted to keep their home's interior architecture because they loved it. So they loved the crown molding, the chair rails, the panel boxes, their hardwood floors. They loved all of that, so we're going to keep that. So now before I move on to step 2, I need to fill you in on my client's shopping trip because that's how we all landed here. So like I said, the store that they ended up purchasing the furniture from was a mid to high-end furniture store which featured a lot of mid-century modern furniture. And I actually love this. This is one of my favorite stores. I actually love it. And can you guess what that store is? If you can, put it in the comment section. Well, while in that store, they were directed to the store's free interior design services. Now, let me offer you a tip. Here's what you need to know about the furniture store's in-house interior design services. They are an extension of the sales department. Yes, the designers are highly trained and qualified, but their goal is to sell you furniture, period. My clients showed the designer pictures of their home, discussed their design preferences, and gave their designer their measurements. And this is what the designer came up with. So here's my problem. If the designer had truly looked at and listened to the homeowners, she would have noted that the home was very traditional. The architecture was traditional, it's just a traditional home, and that the clients have a very traditional style. But instead, the designer created a plan that was more in keeping with the store's bottom line and not suited for the homeowner. Yes, I know the homeowners are grown and they made their decision to buy this furniture, but not everyone has a sense of design. And when someone chooses to work with a designer, they are choosing guidance. But nevertheless, they ended up calling me, and I like to think of myself as the design doctor. Now, I knew I could make the sofa work, but honestly, when I saw the side chairs, they were very modern. I mean, really, they reminded me of like Star Trek Enterprise, the Captain Kirk's captain's chair. That's what they reminded me of. And I wasn't sure if I could make that work. But when they told me that one of the chairs was broken, I said, oh, well, let's send both of those chairs back and get 2 new chairs that were more in line with the sofa in the home's existing decor. So now these are the new chairs that came in. So now let's move on to step number 2, which is create a layout. In this step, I want you to measure out your space so you can create a floor plan. Again, another simple step that most people avoid doing. But this step is so important because it will help you determine what will fit in your space and what will not. How many times have you heard of people ordering furniture that can't even fit through the front door, or that's too big or too small for the space? And listen, measuring out the space doesn't have to be complicated. Yes, I use AutoCAD to create floor plans, but you don't have to. You can draw lines on a piece of graph paper and add the measurements to it. That'll work just fine. Now, on your floor plan, make sure to note where your windows and your doorways are and whatever sizes they are, because that'll impact where you lay out your furniture and your accessories. Now, here on this floor plan, the new chairs were slightly wider, so we actually moved them around to face the sofa and create a conversational layout. The dining room layout didn't change that much. We just added a console table in front of the bay window. Now, to resolve the design conflict between the new furniture and the existing decor, I first added even more molding to the walls to play up the traditional style and create more interest. Then I painted the walls and the ceilings all one color, which was pure white. Now, I will say in 2025, you might want to go with a slightly warmer paint color because that's what's trending right now. But I love to showcase traditional and classical design in all white walls because I think it just fits better. And remember that this space was really dark, so using a bright white also helped to lighten up the space. Now, with everything painted one color, the traditional elements, the crown moldings and the chair rail, receded into the background, making it a great backdrop for modern furniture and accessories. So the first modern elements to be added were the wall sconces and the chandelier. These types of light fixtures are certainly found in traditional design. However, the fixtures I chose were a nod to the popular Sputnik light fixtures of the 1950s, which was the center of the mid-century modern era. Now, as you can see, I am starting to blend the two design styles and removing the design conflict. Now, before we move on to step 3, I have another tip for you. With most renovation projects, big or small, you should expect the unexpected. In this case, when the old area rug was removed from the living room, my clients discovered an active termite colony. Yes. Termites. So the project was immediately put on hold so that they can take care of their termite issues. But here's what I want to tell you. Always expect the unexpected and make sure you put at least 10% of your project's budget aside for contingency. This way you're prepared, and you should be prepared because there's always something lurking about that you did not expect. Now, moving on to step number 3. Create a mood board. What are mood boards? Mood boards are a collage of pictures that illustrate what you want your final space to look and feel like. It is a quick and easy way to help you see all of the things that you're interested in purchasing, all on this nice little, neat little template. It's super easy and it's super cheap. I mean, it doesn't have to cost you anything. I mean, I use Canva, but you can use Pinterest. You can use a variety of those apps that put everything together. Now, here's the mood board that I created for this project. And note, with the termite issue, I had to pare down a lot of elements, and we actually decided to keep the dining room table and just replace the dining chairs. The lighting, the side tables, and the chairs in both the living room and dining room leaned towards the mid-century modern elements. The blinds and the rugs were natural fibers, and that worked well in that era too. In this picture, my clients are trying to decide which curtain panel to go with. Which panel do you think they selected? Now here's your bonus step, and I'm going to call this step number 4, 3D renderings. I love 3D renderings, and so do my clients. I use them in all of my larger projects. And we find that this is very helpful to the clients because it also, along with the mood boards, gives them a real sense of what the final space is going to look like. And that's important because as renovation projects go along, there are times when doubt likes to seep in because it just looks very chaotic and you really can't see the end. The end becomes very clouded. So renderings really help with that because if I didn't have the renderings, I tell you, my clients will be calling me day and night. And so not only are the renderings helpful for my clients, but they help me as well. So we love 3D renderings in our projects. Now, if you've made it this far in the video, I want to thank you. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.